Here's what nobody tells you about purpose. The search itself is the problem. Think about it. When did this obsession with finding your purpose begin? Probably around the time you started feeling like what you're doing isn't enough. Like there's something more meaningful out there, waiting to be discovered. And once you find it, everything will click into place. That feeling, that restlessness, it's real. But the solution we've been sold, this idea that you need to find your purpose, it's keeping you exactly where you are. Lost, searching, waiting for something outside yourself to finally make sense of your life. Let me ask you something. Have you ever noticed that the people who talk the most about finding their purpose are usually the ones who seem the most stuck? They're reading books, taking courses, doing personality tests, trying meditation retreats, asking the universe for signs. All this effort, all this searching, and yet nothing changes. Meanwhile, there are people who never think about purpose at all. They just do things. They engage with what's in front of them. They respond to what life brings. And somehow, their lives have meaning. Not because they found it, but because they're living it. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Purpose isn't something you find. It's something you've been taught to look for, so you don't have to deal with what's actually happening in your life right now. The search for purpose is a distraction, a sophisticated form of procrastination, dressed up as spiritual seeking. Think about what happens when you're searching for purpose. You're constantly evaluating everything you do against this imaginary standard of meaningful work. Is this my calling? Is this what I'm meant to do? Does this align with my true purpose? Every activity gets filtered through this lens of whether it's purposeful enough, engaged fully with something. And then, looking back, it all seemed purposeful. The story wrote itself. But they didn't start with the story. They started with action, with engagement, with actually doing something instead of searching for the right thing to do. This is what nobody tells you. Purpose is retroactive. It's something you recognize in hindsight, not something you discover in advance. Think about every major decision in your life. Did you really know it was the right one when you made it? Or did you choose, commit, engage, and then later realize, oh, that was exactly what I needed to do? The search for purpose is trying to get the certainty before the action. It's trying to know before doing. It's trying to have the meaning before the experience. And it doesn't work that way. It can't work that way. Meaning emerges from engagement, not from contemplation. Purpose reveals itself through action, not through searching. But we've built an entire industry around the opposite idea. Find your passion, discover your calling, uncover your true purpose. As if these things exist somewhere, hidden, waiting to be found. They don't. They never did. What exists is this moment, this situation, this choice in front of you, right now. And the question isn't whether it's your purpose. The question is whether you're going to engage with it fully or keep waiting for something more meaningful to come along. By the way, our shared space of light and awareness is on its way to 100,000 people. Thank you to everyone who subscribes and brings this moment closer. Here's where it gets interesting. The search for purpose is actually a search for permission. Permission to matter. Permission to be important. Permission to feel like,
unless it was all in service of some grand purpose.
And that decision, that expectation, it's made us miserable. Because ordinary life, which is actually where everything meaningful happens, got downgraded to something we have to transcend. Here's the paradox. The more you search for purpose, the less purposeful your life feels. Because you're constantly rejecting the present moment as not meaningful enough. And the present moment, right now, this is where life is happening. This is where meaning exists. Not in some future discovery of your true calling, but in how you engage with what's here. Think about the times in your life when you felt most alive, most engaged, most present. Were you thinking about your purpose? Or were you just fully absorbed in what you were doing? I'm willing to bet it was the latter. You weren't asking whether it was meaningful. You were just there, completely doing it. That's what gets lost in the search for purpose. The ability to be fully present with whatever is actually happening. Because if you're searching, you're not here. You're in the future, in the fantasy of the meaningful life you'll have once you find your purpose. Let me tell you what happens when you stop searching. At first, it feels like giving up, like admitting defeat, like accepting that your life won't be special after all. But then something unexpected happens. You start noticing what's actually in front of you. You start engaging with your actual life instead of your imagined one. You start doing things not because they're your purpose, but because they're what's here to do. And in that engagement, in that full presence with what is, meaning starts to emerge. Not the grand cosmic meaning
Fully. That's the truth nobody wants to hear, because it means you can stop searching, and stopping the search means you have to deal with your actual life, the one that's happening right now, the one you've been waiting to start living until you find your purpose. This is where transformation actually happens, not in discovering your purpose, but in realizing you don't need one. Not in finding your calling, but in responding to what's calling you right now, in this moment. Every situation in front of you is an opportunity to engage, to respond, to be fully present. That's where meaning lives, not in some future discovery, but in present engagement. Think about what you are avoiding by searching for purpose. What responsibilities are you putting off? What relationships are you not fully present in? What opportunities are you dismissing as not meaningful enough? The search for purpose lets you avoid all of it because you're waiting for the right thing, the purposeful thing, the thing that will finally make you feel like your life matters. But your life already matters. It's mattering right now, in how you treat people, in what you choose to pay attention to, in whether you show up fully or keep waiting for something better. This isn't about settling. It's about waking up to what's actually here instead of waiting for what you think should be here. Purpose as a concept, it's not wrong. But the way we use it, the way we've turned it into this thing you have to find before you can really start living, that's the trap. You don't need to find your purpose to start living meaningfully. You just need to stop using the search for purpose as an excuse not to engage with what's actually in front of you. Here's the real question. What would you do if you stopped searching for purpose? If you dropped the requirement that your life needs to be about something grand and meaningful and special? What would you engage with? What would you create? Doing. Started engaging. Started being fully alive in whatever was in front of them. And that's available to you right now. Not after you figure it out. Not once you discover your calling. Right now. In this moment. In whatever is asking for your presence, your attention, your engagement. You want purpose. Stop searching for it. Start being it through how you show up, through what you choose to engage with, through being fully present instead of perpetually seeking. That's the shift. From purpose as something to find, to purpose as something to embody. From meaning as something to discover, to meaning as something to create through engagement. And when you make that shift, when you stop searching and start being, something remarkable happens. Life stops feeling like a puzzle to solve and starts feeling like an experience to have. Not because you found the answer, because you stopped needing one. If this video shifted something in you, write in the comments,
I stop searching. Write it as your promise. Nobody